Hey guys, this is Bill Ratliff with Right Wake Heating or Cooling, and we were hit with a question, and it's either myth or fact. And the myth or fact is this: will my hot water tank last longer if I service my hot water tank, and how often should I do so if that's the case? That is 100% fact. Your hot water tank should be drained every single year. Okay, so there's other components that's in the hot water tank that needs cleaned. Some things are cleanable, some things are not, and which is the pilot assembly or the thermocouple or the heating element. That is depends on which one you have, and depends on the flame sensor. Some of them have flame sensors. So with that said, then yes is the answer to that question. So basically, a hot water tank is just a tank that holds water, and there's a flame inside that tank that heats that water up, the temperature, so that temperature is adjusted or not, depending on where you want the setting to be. And with that said, what can happen is that water can crystallize and settle at the bottom of the tank, and eventually, if you don't drain that out, it will begin to start to clog up and build up. And as that builds up, of course, that's going to affect how long your hot water will last. That's going to affect how hot your hot water will get. That's going to affect the operation of the tank, and eventually could rust out the bottom of the tank. You want to get that stuff out of there. So yearly is the best way to do this, and I'll give you a tutorial real quick on how to do it. So the first thing that you want to do is, if it's a gas hot water tank, you want to go to your gas valve and you want to turn that to off. Okay, so look at the gas valve on the front of the hot water tank, and you see, it'll say pilot on, off. Just go ahead and turn that to off. Now, some guys say, well, you could turn it to pilot. I recommend just turning it off, so that way you know you have it. You ain't got to worry about it. You're going to have to, relight it, which is not that difficult to do. There's instructions on the side of the tank that tells you how to relight that hot water tank. Most hot water tanks now today are pretty easily done with the self-igniting type system where you just push a button and it ignites. So follow the instructions to do so. There's a cold inlet on the hot water tank, and that cold inlet should have a water valve. Now, make sure if that thing is shut. So hopefully you just got a ball valve where you could just turn it like basically 50% of the way, and it closes that valve. If you have to screw it in, make sure that the water stops. I mean, if there's corrosion there, man, don't play around with that. That's where you get leaks. That's where things can really go south quick. Not allowing enough water to flow through that tank, which can affect the pressure. Those type of things. You want to make sure that your valves are in good shape. So close those valves off would be the next move. So turn your gas valve off, then close out the water. The very next move is you want to open up. Now, this is me. This is what I do. I open up all the hot sides of my sink, bathroom sink, or basically everything that's got a hot side. Okay, I open them all up. I want the air to flow. All right. Now, a lot of guys will use the expansion valve on the side of the tank. There's a little metal tab that you can just flip that metal tab up, and that'll allow air to flow in there. You got to kind of careful messing with those. Those are designed for basically if the tank gets too hot, it relieves pressure, so it's a pressure relief valve. You kind of want to be careful with those, because sometimes if you're messing with those, they'll stick, and then you'll have a leak there, and you don't want to have a leak there either. So I noticed that I had the same response whenever I would open up the sinks to get air flowing. And if the air is flowing, it's going to be real easy. There's a spigot on the bottom of the hot water tank, so this would be the third thing. Or actually the fourth thing, be the fourth thing. So gas valve, turn off the main water coming into it, which is on the cold side. Turn that off, and then the very next thing you do, open up all the heat sides of your sinks. And then the fourth thing you do, make sure you got the water hose hooked up. Make sure water flows downhill. The shorter hose you can have, that fits exactly in the drain, the better flow you're going to have. And then you can either take a little flathead screwdriver and open up that valve, or some of them's got a actual spigot knob that you can turn, and it's on the bottom of the tank, and you just let that water flow. After it's completely done flowing, there's no water coming out of it, close that valve. Okay, next move, open up the cold side, back up. So open that valve up, either turn it or flip it, whatever you do. And then you're going to feel a lot of pressure that's going to come out of your sinks. You're going to hear it like basically just a lot of pressure coming out the sinks, and you want to keep that pressure moving until there's no air, and you'll know what I'm talking about because that air would just push through and there's no air whatsoever coming out of that sink. And at that point in time, that's when you're going to want to, when water's flowing, shut all those sinks down. And then the very last thing you do, you're working yourself backwards, is to ignite that pilot light or turn that pilot light on. So you want to turn that over to pilot. Most of them in that case, you push the knob down. When it's pilot, you push the knob down. After pushing the knob down, then you light it. So a lot of them have a self-ignition control that you can light it. Or, something I would tremendously caution, holding that pilot down and reaching back in there with a lighter and ignite it. There has been stories of guys that went to light those and lost all their facial hair. I've been doing this over 20-something years, and I can't tell you that hasn't happened to me, and you learn the lesson of staying out of there. So, you got to stay back and be cautious and careful and realize how much gas you're dumping in there. Sometimes that those gas valves on those pilots will stick, dump a lot of gas in there. So you got to kind of know what you're doing to make sure that you're igniting these things correctly and safely. At the end of the day, your best option is Right Way Heating or Cooling. Call us up, get on our website, rightwayhvac.com. That's rightwayhvac.com. And you can get on there, schedule an appointment, and we'll come out and we can actually make it a part of our service agreement, which is with our ACs and furnaces. We service those 15-point inspections a year, and you can have that done every single year. It's a very wise choice to do that, and that's something that we definitely do. And we definitely can give you a good price on that. So if you have any more questions, guys, it's a good question, and just send it on over. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom there, and any future details that we have going down the line. And I do know that our online store is about to air, so hopefully we can get that done in the near future. And there's a lot of cool stuff that we're going to have on there. So Bill Ratliff, Right Way Heating and Cooling. Your home service the right way always. So give us a call whenever you get a chance. And like I said, you can find us on our website. So thanks, guys. See you later.